I think since this zero COVID policy will continue, and there are experts who are saying that, in a sense, China is compelled to follow this zero COVID policy because despite all the vaccination drives that they have had, they have not been able to control the epidemic or the pandemic, and cases are mounting up. And if they actually give up this zero COVID policy, then the numbers may grow exponentially. And there are some big figures being bandied around, whether to believe them or not, that maybe 1 million people will die and several million people may need hospitalization, which will put an enormous strain on the Chinese health system. I am not too sure whether one should believe these predictions because they are based on mathematical models. It may be true, it may not be true, but there may be some kernel of truth in this, that they are now compelled to follow this because for 3 years they were pretty successful. But now, given the change in strains and everything else, and their vaccines apparently are not that efficient, and I understand about 40% of the old people, only about 40% have been vaccinated. The rest have not been vaccinated. So given that ground situation, there may be some genuine fears of the pandemic spreading too rapidly and straining their health system. Now, if that happens, already the economy has suffered a great deal because of constant lockdowns. There's been disruption of trade with China. People can't move to and fro. It was very difficult to enter China. People who entered China had to be subject to long periods of isolation, which was disrupting. Even our students, as you know, couldn't go back. Some countries they allowed, but India they allowed only a very small number of people to go. All this has been very disruptive, and given the fact that China is the second largest economy, biggest exporter in the world, the biggest export partner of all major countries, it will necessarily have a deleterious impact on the global situation, already suffering because of the Ukraine conflict and the disruptions that has caused. It's not a happy scene, but I think in addition to all that I have mentioned, the slowdown of the Chinese economy per se is going to have international repercussions in terms of global trade. So I think the outlook is not all that bright.